by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Georgia for SEC Media Days at the College Football Hall of Fame. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon. This afternoon, we're going to have a loaded show for you today as it is officially Arkansas Day. Just got a chance to hear from Sam Pittman, the head coach of the Razorbacks, as he spoke to the media in the main room. We'll have our reactions to that. We'll also have a chance to hear from Taylen Green, as well as Xavian Sorey and Cam Ball, Commissioner Greg Sankey of the SEC, and a personal dear friend of mine, Eli Drinkwitz. Got a chance to sit down with him, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll get to your chats. We'll get into all the topics. But, fellas, how we feeling on this Thursday? And I know we're going to get into the specific reactions, but Sam Pittman, speaking of the media, how did we go?
Well, he's got me ready to run through a brick wall as usual. It was about what I expected, man. The typical, I think, opening speech that he does, like his introduction, just kind of did a rundown of literally everything that happened last year, every returner that they have, every game on the schedule. He just kind of does that for the monologue. But I will say I was semi-impressed with some of the questions that were asked of him, like very pointed and direct. Difficult position to be put in, but I thought he did a pretty good job. I know we'll talk about it, like wearing some responsibility for some things, and then he, did some other things maybe we're not crazy about, but wasn't a groundbreaking performance, but there were some notable things there for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it went super well. I wouldn't say it went poorly. Like I'm not coming away from it being like, wow, I can't believe Sam Pittman said that. But if you guys remember yesterday, I kind of expected us to fall in love with Sam Pittman again, and like him to come out here and have the jokes ready and be very prepared for every question he was asked, and like really kind of like have his all shucks, like, hey, we're going to be the lovable underdog. I kind of expected some of that, and I think he maybe went for it a little bit. He smiled here and there, but it was honestly, if you had told me those questions, Curtis, I would have been able to predict Sam's answer and how he was going to answer it, and he answered them, as honestly as he could. But once again, when this is kind of, all offseason, we've been kind of nitpicking Sam's press conferences, but his specific answers to some things, I just firmly disagree with, and I don't know how he views it that way. Specifically, that he ran back the thing where he says, now that revenue sharing is a thing, we're all equal in money again. He said that multiple times throughout this press conference, and we talked about that in the winter, and we were like, I don't know how a head coach of the SEC can say that and feel like that's a real thing. And I feel like Hunter Yurachek has come out and dispelled that narrative. Sam said it again today where he's like, yeah, now we're back. He was basically like, listen, we were 9-4 a few years ago, and then they started doing all this NIL stuff, and it gave other teams an advantage. Now revenue sharing is here, and we're all back to even. So now we're just going to get right back to that. That was pretty much his point of view on that, which is very interesting. And he wasn't. He talked a little bit about the roster, but there were some position groups that he didn't want to talk about, like receiver, which was, I feel like, one that a lot of people wanted to hear about. Didn't have much he wanted to say about them, which is interesting. And so it was a ho-hum press conference, but it did not make me want to run through a brick wall.
Well, see, and that's the kind of the thing where I think I told you guys yesterday, if I've gone on shows or talked to media, like, hey, what are you going to hear? What do you want to hear from Sam Pittman? What do you think is going to be the big storyline? And I feel like, it's pretty much the status quo. I wasn't expecting Pittman to come in here and just drop any absolute bombs on people and make viral moments or anything like that. And he doesn't have to necessarily. But there are some just elements to where, it's one thing to be in front of the local media, but then you have the national media talking to him, because they understand, hey, it's a hot seat situation, and, his team and where it stands and everything. And that's where, when he's coming into this place, he's not going to change for the SEC national media or anything like that. He's just going to give kind of the same answers and everything. And like to your point, Andrew, is just like on revenue sharing and all of that. Yeah, as you can say, he's been pretty consistent on it. And as far as his feelings on it, I just don't know if that's really the way in the case that most other people view it, where it's like, now everything's fine, good to go, and all of that. But I know that he's a guy that goes here on the last day. In fact, most people have bounced out of here, guys, at media day. There's not a whole lot of them left, but as far as I didn't get a chance to watch it live, got some other interviews, but how was his personality and vibe? Like, was he making jokes, crack? Because, people like to see that a little bit, making some laughs or anything like that. Anything?
He kind of seemed a little bit shaky early on, if I'm being honest with you. Now he's settled in. It was interesting. Like, I think there were certain things he wanted to get into. Like, he had a moment there where he was kind of doing what I wanted him to during his opening address, where he was showing a little bit of fire, and he was basically like, listen, damn it, we've got a good football team and we're excited, started doing the thing. It's coach speak, whatever, but he was doing that. And then it's almost like he realized that he was getting off script. It was like somebody in Donald Trump's ear, well, hell, he doesn't listen, but somebody's ear that's like, hey, stick to the script. Because then he was like, well, but anyway, let me tell you about the 3 guys we brought here, and just like read their U of A bio. I was like, dang, you should have kept going, man. Like, he was almost better when he was shooting from the hip. I will say the most excited he got was when intern Reagan asked her a question about the receivers and tight ends. And he was like, I knew as soon as you started talking into the microphone that you're from the great state of Arkansas. And had a big smile on his face for that. He didn't have a whole lot to say about his receivers, but yeah, I've seen him a little bit more chipper and upbeat and throwing out the jokes and everything like that. And he had a few, but it was a little more solemn than it has been in the past. But honestly, his situation is a little bit different. You know what I mean? Like, it's a weird deal for him. So you can go one of two ways. Like, you can kind of embrace the reality of where you're at in your tone and everything, or you can do the fake it till you make it. And I think it was pretty clear which one he chose.
Yeah, I think we all kind of knew that, like, as much as we thought that Sam would be charming and be funny and be all the things that he normally is, it was going to be hard for him to like win media day, just given the public perception of the program. Coming off of just a year that had some frustrations, like, and an off season that had a lot of frustrations. Like, I think Sam Pittman would have been not smart for him to come in and like really try and be like, yeah, everything's going great. Yeah, no, like, this is awesome. Our fan base is excited, because we would have seen through that a little bit. I do think he was honest, and that's the one thing that you can usually count on Sam Pittman to be, is honest. His reactions to some questions were funny. Like that opening question, I believe, from one of the SEC Unfiltered guys was just like, yeah, you've got the smallest support staff in the SEC. You've got the least amount of NFL talent in your state in the SEC. Like, thoughts, and he like kind of just laughed and was like, shoot.
He's like, man,
and it is a tough question, and that's where he basically cited the whole revenue sharing thing. And now that we're able to pay people, we're going to make we're all even and all that. And so like and his reaction to intern Reagan was pretty funny. Gave Jacob Davis a hard time. Like there were some funny moments here and there, but ultimately, like, it's hard to accomplish a lot in this setting in the circumstances that he had. But I don't think much was accomplished. Like, I feel vastly different than I did 45 minutes ago. I don't think many fans do. He spoke a little bit about some specific guys and some personnel when he was asked about it. But it really, I don't think there was like a ton that Sam Pittman came to this presser today and he's like, I really want to talk about this. I really want to talk about these guys. Like, you didn't really get a ton of those quotes where he's just like, oh, Braylon Russell, he's looking amazing. He looks great. There really wasn't much of that. It was like, hey, how do you feel about your receivers? Yeah, we got a couple that are good. How do you
Here's
feel
all
about
their names almost.
Yeah, we got a couple that are pretty good. Like, there really weren't that many moments where you were like, oh man, Sam feels like he's got a squad over there. He said they were big. He said they were fast. And he said they have great leadership. And we'll see what that equates to.
Oh, I took some notes. Okay, so I'm going to share those because it wasn't all bad. I was happy to see Sam give a shout out to Bob Holt right out of the gates. Did that, shared a nice little story on him. I thought that was very cool. It was about 2 seconds, but he did publicly address baseball's run to the College World Series, amongst Cal's trip to the Sweet 16 and track's title and all that. But he threw it all out there and then gave Hunter Yurachek a shout out for the Director's Cup. So there was that. But no, just a handful of things he did. And I think he said this during the gaggle beforehand, but Ishmael Cece probably out for the year. Tore some ligaments in that wrist in the weight room. We were thinking, shoot, maybe he misses some fall camp or whatever in a couple weeks. Nah, it sounds like it might be the entire season. That sucks. But he did say that everyone else is healthy as of now and should be good to go for camp. Okay. What else? He was asked about the 2023 class, basically all transferring out, which is something Andrew's brought up before. I know he's pulled up that class on like 24/7 Sports and gone through all the guys. And he's like, gone, non-factor, gone, non-factor. He was talking about that and was basically just said, hey, like, it's not because of how they're treated or developed or talked to. It's because we've been broke. Like, that's when he started getting into the money stuff. And yeah, a lot of them probably left for money, but we're happy with the guys that we brought in for the same amount of money. So like some of the revenue sharing and NIL and we're broke, but we're not, a little bit of that was contradictory, but whatever. I liked what he said about KJ Jackson. He was asked about him and was like, hey, we're not going out and looking for Taylen Green's replacement. We're not trying to go bring another guy in or whatever. Like this is him. He's ready. He's going to be the guy. So if you're thinking about what life after Taylen looks like, well, Sam Pittman's here. KJ Jackson's probably that answer. And I liked what he said. One thing about the receivers that he said that I latched onto a little bit was he was talking about Antonio Jordan and said basically like we have already seen enough of him just in summer workouts and everything, the way he runs, the way he moves, his size, that we feel confident basically in his ability to maybe make an impact earlier. But it's like if we've got Antonio Jordan stonks, then I think we have Courtney Crutchfield, like whatever the opposite of that is. He listed off like 15 receivers, and then he goes, yeah, and then Courtney Crutchfield should also be mentioned as well. And then that was it. So I was like, damn.
That's what, one of those players that everybody wants to play really badly and wants to succeed and wants to get out there. That's probably not something you want to hear. But the wide receiver group now with that being mentioned of not only losing CC for what looks like potentially could be the year, at least for a significant period of time. And then one of the big wide receivers that you had out of the portal that you were going to count on doesn't look like he's making any noise. And considering back in the spring, Petrino's, I guess, reluctance to really go in and be like, man, these guys in the wide receiver group are doing really good. If you want to talk about something I'm learning, it's now he's like, maybe there's going to be an issue there with wide receiver. Not to say that it's going to be horrible or anything, but there's definitely some causes for concern of what's going on in that room right now.
Well, and what's crazy about it is if there's someone whose opinion you should not take, with too much seriousness, it's Sam Pittman, because he said as much right when he was asked the question. He was like, I would be lying if I told you I knew a bunch about our receiver room. He was asked about the tight ends and receivers together. This was Reagan's question, and he gave good answers on the tight ends and even said, Rohan Jones, we think he's a guy that can get downfield, a lot of speed. Postkey's going to be obviously more of our blocker guy, and really like those two guys. Mentioned the Platt kid. And then when he went to receiver, he was like, now, honestly, with receiver, he's like, I could sit up here and tell you stuff, and he did. And he was like, but I'd be lying if I said I knew a whole lot about our receivers, which, again, you can take that however you want to take that. You could do it and say, well, how does a head coach not know a ton about his receivers? You could say, well, obviously he works more at the offensive line. He delegates, like whatever. I think that, him saying he doesn't know much about them means it's an unknown question for the coaching staff as well. And so, we've talked about the receiver room and how they're going to have some guys step up, and we obviously know that. And Taylen Green, veteran quarterback, should be able to, maybe kickstart that operation a little bit. But based on just the offensive coordinator speaking in the spring, everything we heard from around the program to Sam Pittman now at SEC Media Days, I think going into fall camp, that's probably the biggest question mark for the team overall is what is going to happen at receiver, because they've had many opportunities to give us some time of inkling, and we really haven't gotten much of that.
Yeah, and it feels like and you mentioned it there, like going back to all the work they had to do in the portal, and then all the conversations with, Bobby and everybody else during the spring. And then just the fact that they went out after they were already maybe over on the amount of receivers that they had and added more during the spring window. And now you got a guy hurt. I'm glad Sam Pittman didn't lie to us, because he could have been like, oh no, we're, this, that, whatever. But he was kind of honest about it. But for those who were talking themselves into, no, they're actually just fine here, maybe they will be in the end, but they certainly don't come across as feeling that way going into fall camp. So yeah, I look at it in terms of, question marks going into fall practices here. And it's like wide receiver, defensive line, where just big looming question marks. Other spots you feel good about, you like your quarterback, you like the moves you made in the secondary, whatever, you got your linebackers back. That's all great. It's two really important spots on either side of the ball that they've got a lot of answers they got to find, where they got 25 practices and 29 days to kind of figure it out.
So we'll continue to talk about SEC Media Days and everything since it is Arkansas Day. I want to remind everybody that here on SEC Media Days themselves with Inside Arkansas, we're brought to you by our friends over at Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas, where they give you access to the boats without the commitment. This is boating that fits your lifestyle, fun, flexible, and stress-free. They take care of the boat, and all you got to worry about is having a good time on it. You can simply enjoy the moment from Cape Cod to the California coast. Your next boat day awaits. With 3 locations in Arkansas, lake time is closer than you think. Whether you prefer Greer's Ferry Lake, Lake Hamilton, or a day on the river in Little Rock, Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas will help make your summer in the natural state the best one yet. You can check out their website at freedomboatclubar.com. That's freedomboatclubar.com to learn more about the benefits of joining the club. All right, guys, and I know, again, we'll have some interviews to play for some of the players, which actually were really good. I was really happy with that. Some good energy from them and everything. But just specifically looking at, for instance, in this case, these 3 players. We know about Taylen Green, so we can talk about that. But Cam Ball and Xavian Sorey, defense maybe doesn't get talked about as much because it's about Taylen, quarterback, Petrino, all of that angle. But just what is the expectation for those 2 guys on that side of the ball? Because Cam Ball obviously wasn't the best defensive lineman on the team last year. Landon Jackson was that. But he's got to take that next step, and he's been a vocal leader and everything. And then Xavian Sorey, that 5-star transfer out of Georgia coming in, I think that, not to say he was just a world beater, but he definitely was a very solid SEC linebacker for Arkansas. And coming back this season, just what do you guys think of their games and their development and what impact they'll actually have on the defense this season?
Well, they need to be your 2 anchors on that side of the ball, honestly. A lot of returning production there, a lot of experience. Sorey is a guy who I feel like has, some all SEC potential there. We've talked about how he's been like criminally underrated in that video game, which, by the way, what was his final rating?
I think he got a bump up to like 83, 84 or something like that.
So
I haven't checked in a while, but I think he did get a little bit of a bump.
It's good that they realized their transgressions and took care of him a little bit. But, he's a guy who could really rack up the tackles for Arkansas this year. Between him and Steven Dix, like I feel good about at least the top end of that position. With Cam Ball, I mean, you need him to be very good. The problem is he missed all of spring. You know what I mean? Like he had that surgery, he was out. And so the good side of that is it allows you to be healthy, fully healthy and hopefully 100% going into the year, which should help. But like how much development were you actually able to do? How did that impact your, like the weight room and everything, the strength gains and all that? John, you're smiling. Maybe that's something you asked him about. I don't know when you guys did your interview, but how much better will he be than he was last year is the question, because they need him to be, frankly, right there, plugging things up in the middle, because after him, you have some guys who have played for you before, like Ian Jaffard has never been a high snap guy. Is he going to be that all of a sudden and emerge as your best, interior defensive lineman? I don't know that I'm counting on that. I've heard a lot of good things about Danny Saili and his development, but he couldn't get on the field last year. And then you've got the FCS transfer and David Oki, nice player, undersized. So it's like you really need Cam Ball to step up and be not just a consistent force, but like a borderline all SEC type of dude right there. Or with the questions that you have along the edge, it could be problematic.
Yeah, I with both of those guys, Cam Ball and Xavian Sorey, I feel very good about both of them individually, but I feel like what they represent are 2 very different things, because at linebacker, if you have 2 really good linebackers, which Arkansas might have, I mean, I think Xavian Sorey he was an all-SEC guy this year, a borderline all-SEC guy going into the year. Steven Dix is a senior, been around for a while, was really good for Arkansas the last 6 or 7 games, I felt like, really emerged in that linebacker room. You have 2 good linebackers, that solves like 90% of your issues. Obviously, you need some depth. You're going to need some of those young guys, and I really like the young talent Arkansas is starting to develop there in that linebacker room. I think T. Will's done a really good job with that room in particular. I think Arkansas is kind of set at linebacker, but whereas D-line, having a really good interior guy like Cam Ball, that's awesome, but that doesn't that's like 15% of your issue. If you have 1 really good defensive lineman, or hell, even 2 really good defensive linemen, you still need 6, 7, 8 other guys to play. And that's kind of the big question, is like, as good as I feel about Cam Ball, how much good can he really do? How much overcompensating can he do for the rest of the group? I think back to last year when they had Landon Jackson playing 65, 70 snaps, like you just don't see high level defensive ends in the SEC play that many snaps, because nobody would ever ask their defensive ends to do that. That's a very grueling way to play, and it's not a coincidence that Arkansas's defense would fall apart in the fourth quarter of games last year. It wasn't because teams made adjustments. Their defensive line was completely depleted, and so I think about that with Cam Ball. On the end, it's hard to play 65 snaps. in the interior in the SEC, you seriously, literally cannot do it. And Cam Ball's not going to be able to do it. And so, yeah, I think Cam Ball, how many snaps will he end up playing? Maybe 40, 45 snaps, which would be a lot for a defensive tackle. But there's going to have to be a lot of other guys step up. And I think Cam Ball, of course, solves a lot of issues. You know, I think as long as he's out there, he's going to demand attention. I think he can evolve into that all SEC type of guy. I think he's a guy that has an NFL future, honestly. I think both of these guys have a chance to play in the NFL, and there's not many guys on this roster you could realistically say that about. But I really think that Cam Ball is going to have to do like a lot more for his position group than Xavian Sorey is going to have to do for his. And that's saying a lot because I think Xavian Sorey is going to be, like you said, he's probably going to lead Arkansas in tackles. I think he's going to be doing a lot of work for Arkansas in that linebacker room. But his work can basically do most of the work for the room. Defensive line, you really are going to need a lot of help. And so as pleased as I am about Cam Ball, like it almost doesn't matter to me where I'm like, yeah, but you need so much other stuff going on. And so I look forward to hearing about some of those other guys, and maybe Cam Ball had some stuff to say about those guys.
Yeah, because we'll have a chance to hear from him here in just a second too, and because of course with Taylen Green, he's also being somebody who's I think undervalued. And I've talked to a lot of people here at SEC Media Days that he's just not being talked about a whole lot. But guys, when again, we'll get to the interviews, but it's amazing how many people came up to me and they're like, "Holy crap, that guy's tall!" I felt like it was almost like I was with Curtis again because everyone's like, "Oh, geez, that guy's huge. That guy's tall. I had no idea. Never seen this guy before." But you'll see here soon as I'm standing next to him just how tall he is. But that's something to where on his game, you know, you think about you want a fast quarterback, he's got speed. You want a big quarterback, he's got size. Maybe not, you know, sheer muscle and strength, but he's got that. You want to have a good coordinator, he's got that with Petrino. You know, the wide receivers, all that stuff we can talk about. But it just seems like Taylen Green as an individual in the situation he's in, he's set up so nicely to be able to have a real great breakout year. It's about staying healthy. Obviously, that's the most important thing. But I'm excited to see him just maybe being a little bit more comfortable and confident in where he's at, because it seems like he's just got everything you would want in a quarterback as far as physical tools and speed and all the intangibles to go along with it.
And if he starts hitting his target, he'll really be onto something as a quarterback. Yeah. But that's the thing for me. And like I've gone on the entire stump before. Yeah, physically, his athletic gifts, his tools, unquestionable. Being another year into the system, huge benefit. How much is he going to improve as a passer of the football in year 4, year 5, whatever this is as a college football quarterback? That's a question. And developing chemistry with an entire new cast of targets out there is another question. So I think he's going to have a better year. I think he's going to be a better player than he was last year. Love me some Taylen Green. I think he's a phenomenal athlete. I think he's a great leader for this football team and for this offense. But I'm not going to get carried away in my expectations of what this could be. I'm not going to do the thing where I'm like, oh, Taylen Green's so good, he can just, even if his supporting cast isn't, he can just put him on his back and carry him to whatever. Think he's a very good football player. Thinks he's going to have a very good season. Think he's going to be improved. But I'm not going to jump on some of the crazy amount of hype that I'm seeing out there. Not just yet.
Yeah, and honestly, the big reason why I can't do that, and look, we can talk about Taylen and his progression and his improvements. It's not even really that I'm not sold that he's going to do that. In fact, I would lean towards he is probably going to be a little bit more accurate. He is going to be a little bit more calm and confident and composed and all that. But with what he's going to have to do for this offense, a lot of it, I don't know if he can do with the question marks that are at receiver, because we talk about putting an offense on your back. In some of the ways, like, 3rd and 3, I actually think Taylen can put the offense on his back and convert that 3rd and 3 and make a play there, make something happen. But like when it comes to like 3rd and 8, is he going to be able to make Omega Blake get open on the outside and be able to get that ball to him? Like, he had a guy in Andrew Armstrong who was kind of his safety blanket, and it's weird. Taylen Green was just a lot more accurate when throwing to Andrew Armstrong than he was any of those other guys. I'm sure that was just a coincidence. And so that's kind of where I'm at, where I'm like, Taylen, I actually do think Taylen is fully capable of putting on his cape and doing his Superman impression, and he's going to make things happen out of nowhere, and he's probably going to make plays that shouldn't have been made for Arkansas this year. But down to down, drive to drive, is he going to have those receiving targets? Even if his accuracy is improved, even if his understanding of the offense is improved, are there going to be those openings? Are those plays going to be there to be made? And is he going to have that same downfield passing threat that Arkansas had last year, which, by the way, as much as we, the Arkansas offense had its issues, being able to make explosive plays in the passing game really wasn't an issue for this Arkansas offense last year. That was the one thing they had. They just didn't have a ton of consistency. I don't know for sure if he's going to be able to replace all of that downfield playmaking ability. Omega Blake is going to have to be that guy that does it. But I think Satania made plays down the field for Arkansas. I don't think Arkansas has a guy like him in their slot guys, which, by the way, Sam Pittman talked very highly of Raylan Sharp and Cam Shanks. Those are really good guys that I think Arkansas has been pleasantly surprised with. I don't think they're going to be making plays down the field necessarily. I mean, Raylan Sharp, we know for a fact, is not going to be doing that. And so I think there's a lot of questions in terms of what this Arkansas offense is going to look like. And as much as I'm confident in Taylen and his ability to kind of answer some of those questions, I think he's going to need a lot of help. And based on everything we're hearing with the receiving room, it doesn't seem like he's going to have a ton of help in that regard. Like, he really is going to have to manufacture every big play that this offense makes.
I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and hear from Taylen Green in a second as we tell everybody and let everyone know that we're brought to you by our friends at Hickey & Hole Law, where divorce and custody cases are far too important to try and face alone. So let Hickey & Hole Law provide you with that persistent and diligent representation to help guide you through the entire process, where they have handled thousands of family law cases and have experienced nearly every scenario that may come up. The foundation of a strong attorney-client relationship is honesty and trust. Hickey & Hole Law prides themselves on building those relationships with their clients by providing honest, principled advice and representation. So give them a call today, because they have offices across the entire state of Arkansas at Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Little Rock, and Mena. Call them today at 479-434-2414, or you can check out their website, hickeyandhole.com. You can scan that QR code on the screen as well. It's Hickey & Hole Law. Things are about to get better. So let's go ahead and hear from our guy, Taylen Green, and never mind the height difference. It's he's just a tall man. I am not that short, but he's just a tall man. And he said he had to say in his second SEC Media Days here in Atlanta. All right, live from SEC Media Days here in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm joined by Razorback quarterback Taylen Green. And Taylen, you did this last year coming to Media Days. How's it feel the second time around?
Way more comfortable. I was definitely, nervous last year. But, I'm enjoying every single second of it. So that's all.
How about the season? How excited are you compared to what it was a year ago at this time, heading into the second year under Petrino? Just what's the confidence? What's the health? Just what's the overall vibe you going into the year?
I'll say similar answer. Just way more comfortable. Knowing what to expect and knowing what to prepare for. Especially in the off season. Last year, I knew everybody was saying, the SEC is different. Which it is, so definitely got to get my body right, and that's what I'm really big on. And of course, being in the film room and getting coached by Coach Petrino. He's the best, I believe the best, OC, in the country, and who wouldn't want that? That's why I'm definitely blessed to be coached by him.
I think a lot of people are interested because you basically have a bunch of new wide receivers out there you're going to be throwing to this year. Just how has that been from the guys last year into this season? Different guys, but building that chemistry, building that rapport. Just what's that been like this offseason?
It's been really cool. It got me out my comfort shell, a comfort zone, and I have to be a mini Coach Petrino out there and tell him where to line up or tweak like some routes or like depth and all that. So I have to know like the minute details, and especially with anybody, whether it's receiver, O-line, tight ends, running backs. Just I got to be a Petrino out there, and that's going to improve my game, especially on Saturdays when Coach Petrino's not out on the field. So I have to be that coach out there.
So I've been trying to tell everybody here all week long that people are sleeping on you as far as the SEC, all SEC quarterback. There's a lot of great quarterbacks in this league, as you know, but do you feel like you can and have the setup and everything to have it be this season? You got to stay healthy. Everybody's got to stay healthy, but can you be one of the best quarterbacks in this league this year?
Oh, definitely. That's my potential. And the biggest thing I'm on myself hard on is everybody has potential, but you got to maximize it. You got to reach that, and for it to and Coach Petrino's a big on you can talk all you want, but you got to prove it. You got to do it every single Saturday, and the consistency piece of that. So that's when I'm excited to have a whole new opportunity. It's my last college experience, last college season. So, why not now?
Well, last year, you guys were picked to finish close to the bottom of the SEC, but you shocked some people, and you ended up finishing. And we don't know what the results are as far as where you guys are going to be picked, but just if it's do you ever look at stuff like that, use it as motivation of what people think or what people have you guys at, or do you just too focused in on what you guys are doing in as a team?
I mean, we know it's probably going to be, low. Not a lot of people, think a lot about Arkansas, but that's how we like it, and that's what we don't have a lot, like we don't dive into that, we just keep the main thing, and to work hard, and all gas, no breaks, and one day at a time. All we have to do is just outwork everybody in the country, and that's what we're doing every single day. And Coach Shouters and our trainers and everybody there is getting our bodies right, and so that's all we can ask for, especially as college football players.
So looking at it from just you as an individual, what has been the focus for you this offseason of working on and trying to improve in your game? Because there's a lot of things that you can do well, but what have things been focused on for you?
I mean, of course, the turnovers. I had a lot of turnovers last year, but they were definitely something that I could have not done, whether it's fumbling or throwing it a certain type versus a certain type of coverage. I would say that's the biggest thing. My body health, taking care of my body, going to the training room before and after, workouts and stretching and drinking water, because I ain't really drink water. That's the biggest thing. I feel like, and just the chemistry on the team, and just knowing my teammates, just asking them questions, how they doing off the field and things like that. So, and when it comes to ball, ball is ball, and just we're all excited. That fall camp is 2-3 weeks away, and so that's what we all working towards. So.
Last one for what you get out of here. I mean, still think it's cool if you're in a video game, and it's been going around that one of everyone's favorite quarterbacks to play with is you on the video game, because you got a speed rating that's really high and all of that. Just have you played the game, and what do you think about you being one of those quarterbacks that everybody wants to play with, because it seems like they know how to have success with it?
Oh, I played, I want to shout out, I beat Cam, he ain't going to say it, but y'all saw the video. Go to Arkansas Instagram page, 2-minute drill, I got the dub, I got the dub. But, I would say, it's really cool, to be on a video game. Every single time I play, with Arkansas, it just seems like it's not real, but I'm definitely, blessed to, be in the game. And I would say when we have a break or the weekend, that's when I play it. But normally, during the week, I'm normally, locked in on football. So, but, it's really a good game, though,
Yeah, gotta check it out. Gotta play with Arkansas. Gotta play with Taylen Green.
Got to go Hogs.
That's right. Taylen, appreciate it, man. Good luck this season.
Thank you so much.
All right, that was Taylen Green joining us here live from SEC Football Media Days, and yeah, he's really tall. But I like this. Of course, he's going to give some pretty coach speak answers, and then had some fun with there at the end. But I think it's just kind of funny in the way that he looked of when he was talking about things he's got to work on. He's just like, hey, I got to stop turning the ball over. It's almost like he's had to hear about it. He's had to have it emphasized. And, that's really, as you kind of mentioned it, Curtis, and for him, his accuracy and his turnovers, those are really the two things that kept him from being just that guy last year. And who knows, maybe he could be that guy this year if he just limits those two things.
I hope so. I mean, it seems like he's at a good starting point, I guess, right? Because we're not really going to know until we get into the season and just see what this all looks like. But a big thing for him, I think, is having comfortability and confidence in what he's doing. Confidence being a key part of that. I mean, this is the same Taylen Green who people in this very chat week in and week out were demanding gets benched for Malachi Singleton for decision-making and holding on to the football too long and taking sacks and all this other stuff. And this is also the same Taylen Green that after a game, his head coach called him fragile. And so then you were wondering about mental toughness and everything like that. Those are other things that he can improve on without even taking a step forward at all as a quarter or a passer or whatever. Just being in a better headspace with all that kind of stuff, a little bit more comfortable being able to play and react instead of just think and having to overthink every single decision you make out there. That's something that could pay dividends for him. And it seems like, and this is exactly how it should be, that he's pretty confident in what he's got going on right now. It's a start.
Yeah, I mean, there's no easy way to play quarterback in the SEC. Even if you're on a really good team that's got a great offensive line, got great receivers, it's still hard. You're still in the SEC with guys scheming against you. And I think once you do something once, even if you have your ups and downs, and Taylen Green did absolutely have that, both just with staying healthy and, you mentioned the fragility, making some mistakes, turning the ball over, having some awesome moments as well. Like, I think going through all of those ups and downs just makes you better. And I think once you do something once, now you kind of know what you're prepared for. So I think, you mentioned it, at the top of it there, like the difference between this year going into it with Taylen Green and last year. I think we all feel better about what he is and what his skill sets are. And I think this coaching staff, of course, they have a pretty good idea by this point of what he's capable of, what positions to put him in to best succeed. And I think for him personally, like just kind of being through those battles and going through the ups and downs, I mean, because he's made mistakes, he's been hurt, he's faced some of these really good defenses. He's had those games where the team just had your number. He's also had some success. I think he can build off of all of it. And so I think mentally, regardless of the physical, obviously, you want to clean up accuracy. You don't want to be, fumbling the football. You don't want to be taking those horrible sacks. But I think mentally, as a quarterback, knowing what to do and knowing where to go with the football, that makes you so much better. And you just see these guys. There's a reason why the year 2 Bobby is a thing. Now there's some reasons to believe maybe it's not going to be that simple, but there's a reason we talk about stuff like that. And so I think for Taylen, all these things are important. And he's the type of guy, mature, understands, a ton of experience playing college football. There's not many quarterbacks in the country that have more experience than Taylen Green at this point. And I think now it's just time for him to kind of put it all together. And I think he kind of knows that he's going to have to play Superman a little bit. He knows that it's going to be on his back. But some quarterbacks kind of like that, like obviously you want it to be easy, but I think there's something to the mentality of we're going in each week, and he kind of knows he has to be the guy that knows where everyone's at. He has to be, like you said, being an extension of Bobby Petrino. And so we'll see if that brings out a different level of his game. But again, it's really more to me about what everyone around him does. And my skepticism there. But in terms of Taylen the person, Taylen the individual, and Taylen the talent, I definitely am very confident in his ability to be a better version of himself this fall.
Well, one of the other players that we discussed was Cam Ball, a guy that him and Taylen Green both sang at a baseball game, Take Me Out to the Ball Game, which was a really great moment and fun moment. And Cam Ball definitely has a lot of personality, so we were able to have a chance to catch up with him. So let's hear from Razorback defensive lineman Cam Ball. All right, continuing our coverage here at SEC Media Days in Atlanta, Georgia at the College Football Hall of Fame. We know it's Razorback Day today. Had a chance to hear from Taylen Green, and now we have a chance to hear from our friend Cam Ball. With Cam, how's it going, man?
Good, man. Blessed to be here. Blessed to be back in my home city, especially for an event like this and to represent the state of Arkansas.
Yeah, so just the fact that it's here in the home city and being able to come back, and I know that you're only going to be here for a short period of time. Of course, maybe, I don't know, maybe you're sticking around, but what is that like to be here at Media Days and to be representing Arkansas and to be it in your hometown? What does that mean to you?
This is a real moment, man. I went to high school 12 minutes from here. Been all through. This is probably like my second or third time here at the College Football Hall of Fame, and just to be here for a moment like this, man, I'm just so blessed, and I thank the Lord every day for allowing me to experience things like this.
Yeah. So for you this offseason, obviously trying to develop, trying to get better, and trying to get ready for this year. But you as an individual, just what's kind of been your focus as far as things you want to get better at and improve on and get ready for the season with?
My main thing that I want to get better at is pass rush. I feel like I solidify myself in the run game, but that's no knock on me saying that I made it in the run game yet. I want to work on that, and I'm going to be more vocal this year. That's one thing I want to work on. And, I'm recovering from an injury as well. So my main thing is getting back healthy, getting back ready to go, and ready to, just get better and get ready for fall camp in the next 2.5 weeks. So
you're talking about recovering from that injury. Just walk us through the process of that recovery and just how you feel now compared to, before. I mean, are you 100%? Everything feels good to go? Just what's that process been like?
Man, it's been good. It's been somewhat of a mental challenge at times, and then especially in the last month, me losing my father, man. It's been. I done had my up and down moments, but through it all, God has never left nor forsake me. So I know that He has a plan, and I can't wait to see the plan that He has in store for me.
Now, you mentioned the passing of your father. I know that can't be. It's not easy any time, but just what did he mean to you? Not only for you as a football player, but just you as a man.
Man, he meant the world to me. I didn't more so look at us as father son. I looked at us like best friends. You know, that was my best friend. I got him for life. You know, we always talked about it, man. And you know, I was a little emotional going to the stadium this morning to get ready to come down here because on a day like today, my father he would have sent me a motivational video or a motivational paragraph, and just to wake up and not receive that notification, you know, it kind of hit me again. You know, I have my moments, but I know he's proud of me, and I know he's here with me in spirit. And he told me that regardless if he has to be here in a wheelchair, get rolled here, dragged here, it doesn't matter. He wants to be here, and for that reason, you know, he's not here in the flesh, but he's here in spirit. And I've been walking around with this big chain of his face on me, so that anybody that talks to me, have a conversation with me about anything, they'll see my father as well.
That's awesome, man. And I know that going into this year, you got some new guys around you there on the defensive line and everything. But you know, just talk about some of those guys that have some of the new faces and also the development. Because you know, Landon Jackson, guy was here last year, great player, got drafted into the NFL.
Yep.
So having to replace some pieces. But just how do you feel like the overall group there under Deke Adams and with your defensive line? Just where's it at right now?
Man, I think we're at a good point. You know, we still have a ways to go before the season, but Coach Adams, he's a good developmental kind of guy. You know, he developed me, you know, from the dirt. With the pieces that we have coming in, we got some key guys out the transfer portal like Justice Boone, man, Phillip Lee, Ken Talley, David Oakey, and we have some guys, young guys that waited their turn. You know, they're hungry, they're eager, ready to learn, and ready to display their talents like Quincy Rose, man. I'm excited about the year that he's about to have, and Ian Gaffard and Danny Salili and Caleb James, and we got another guy, Frank. I don't want to mispronounce his name, but Frank Muli Polo.
Sounded good to me.
Hope he don't get on me now, because I've mispronounced his name one time and he was like he corrected me, you know. But he's good, man. He's going to be a heck of a player for us as well, and we got a good incoming freshman class as well, and possibly some guys that can make an impact in that freshman class as well.
I thought it was really fun, you know, seeing you guys at baseball, for instance, at Razorback Baseball, and singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Just tell us about that experience, and just you and Taylen being on opposite sides of the ball, but the rapport you guys have as leaders of this team.
Man, that experience, that was a cool experience, man, just to be there. You know, anytime I have the opportunity to represent the football team or just interact with the fans at any sporting event or any event in general it's a great moment for me, you know, because like I said, I love the state of Arkansas. I love the fans. I love the people. I'm a loyal guy, man, and I've always stayed loyal to Arkansas. And Taylen, man, I'm excited, you know, for year 2 under Bobby Petrino is what they'll say for Taylen Green, man. And Taylor is a good vocal leader. He's a God-fearing man. He's just an overall great person, more so than the football. You know, he's a great athlete, but he's an even better person. And I'm excited for Taylen, man.
Well, before we let you get out of here, man, appreciate your time. There's also, I thought it's always funny to see players almost twice in 1 year going and being on the same team for 2 years in a row. You know, just given the portal and how chaotic that is. I mean, how does that help you guys as an individual team? Each and Taylen, yourself, people that have been in the program and going into that year, especially with so many new faces surrounding you, being those leaders, but also just the ones that have been around a little bit. Like how much of a benefit is that for you as an individual, but also for the team?
It's a big benefit. You know, me being here 5 years, and then we got some transfers that's been here. This is going to be their second year. They're talking to the transfers that's coming in, you know, telling them the real, giving them what they're not going to see on the recruiting visits, you know, behind the scenes. We have a great coaching staff. You know, Coach Pittman, he's not a car salesman. He's going to give you the real. He's going to tell you the real. But we're also going to give you the real and tell you the real from a player standpoint. And that's what the transfers from last year did as well. And that made it more welcoming and open arms with the incoming transfers. So after we have our first meeting in January, you know, Coach Pittman he makes all the new guys, whether it be transfers or freshmen, stand up, introduce yourself, tell us where you're from. And after the last person speaks, hey, you guys are not transfers anymore. You're not newcomers. We're family. We're teammates. And we leave it at that. And we go out often with each other. We spend time off the field, you know, just do anything outside of football to bring us closer on the field.
Yeah, I said it was the last one. I got one more because I was talking with Taylen, and he was talking a little bit of trash about the NCAA video game and everything. And no, 'cause I feel like sometimes they don't film the amount of wins that you've probably had against them. You know, it's only the other one.
They don't.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because I lost to Taylen because of Taylen. You know,
it's
I was about
ironic.
to be up 2 touchdowns, and Taylen thought he was Cam Newton and won the scramble. You know, even though I'm controlling them, but we're still talking about Taylen. I was controlling Taylen, and he was scrambling, and he sacked fumble, and the rest was history. And then they start hyping up. Yeah, look at him.
Yeah,
Get back, bro. Whatever. You got it, man. You got it.
Yeah.
Nothing, bro. Get back, bro. You're bored, bro. Go, bro.
Yeah,
Taylen Green, man.
Yeah, he's somebody. Hey, well, it's got to be pretty cool being on a video game, though, right?
Yeah, man. It is cool, man. Especially, just growing up playing the game and everything that I've done throughout the years, the first thing I do with any Madden or NCAA is do a created player and create myself as a player. And just to go on an active roster and see my name on there, it's a surreal moment, man. I'm just so blessed.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. And Cam Ball, defensive lineman for the Arkansas Razorback football team. Appreciate you joining us. Enjoy media days. Enjoy being back home.
Yes,
and good luck this season, man. We look forward to
Yes,
it.
sir. Thank you, man. Go Hogs.
All right, there you have it. There was Cam Ball, Razorback defensive lineman, loving and having some fun there with Taylen Green and talking about the game and all that stuff. Man, he's just, you talk about a guy that's easy to root for. I mean, obviously the passing of his dad, it's awful. And, I can imagine, having to just go through college and go through playing football and everything too. But seems as he have a good head on his shoulders, seems to have a good mindset, talks about him being loyal, complimentary of everybody. I mean, he's just such an easy guy to root for. On the field and even off the field too.
Yeah, great dude. Huge for that locker room. He's going to be a big presence, a big voice. And then obviously his role is going to be very, very important for this team in the defensive line this year. Always love hearing Cam Ball talk. And that was pretty funny, man. Like, imagine losing to a guy in a video game because the guy that you're playing against sack fumbled in the game. Like, I wouldn't even know how to feel about that either. But that's pretty funny, man. I'm sure Cam gets his dubs every now and again.
Sounds like it. But yeah, we're never going to be in the era of college football where the majority of your roster are guys like Cam Ball who have been at your program for 5 years and, grown up as Razorbacks and have that. But I do think it's important. You've got to have at least a few. You got to have some of these guys. And again, what number, who knows? And it's harder than ever to have guys like that. But I think him and the leadership he brings and the personality and, just being a good football player certainly helps. But also his belief in Sam Pittman, I think, is big. And, he talked about how some of those transfers come in and they come to the current players and to try and figure out what to expect. And then now they kind of can relay it to everyone else. And so to have someone like Cam Ball at the top of that leadership chain, just pushing everything down. I think it's good to have guys like that. And like you said, very easy to root for. And man, sucks hearing about his dad, but it's crazy to see someone so much younger than us be so mature and like handle something like that so well. And could not be more excited about watching his final year at Arkansas. And hope he accomplishes everything he needs to accomplish individually, and I'm sure he will. But also, again, I just think it's very important to have guys like this in your program, setting that tone. Like, whatever culture you're going to have, it's going to start with guys like this, and who better to start it than Cam Ball?
No doubt about it. And we're going to hear from our final player for Arkansas Razorback football, Xavian Sorey, here in a second. But just want to remind everybody, we're presented by our friends at BetSaracen. It's the #1 sports betting app in the state of Arkansas, not even close. And there's a reason for that, because they have all the great specials, all the great future bets that you can get in for college football. They also got Major League Baseball, all that good stuff. And you can do parlays. It's great. It's awesome. And you want to get that money, want to win that money, well, download the app with BetSaracen on your iPhone or on your Android, or go over to BetSaracen.com. All right, so let's go ahead and hear from a Razorback linebacker, Xavian Sorey, who was the former 5-star from Georgia, transferred in, had a nice season, and the steps that he's going to be taking next. Here's Xavian Sorey, live from SEC Football Media Days. All right, we are continuing our coverage here live from SEC Media Days in Atlanta, Georgia at the College Football Hall of Fame. And we know it's Razorback Day today, and we are now joined by linebacker Xavian Sorey of the Arkansas Razorbacks. And, man, it's good to see you. Good to catch up with you. How's things been going?
It's been going good. It's been going good.
So how does it feel to be here at Media Days? I know it's a big deal for us nerds in the media, but as far as you being a player for Arkansas and representing the state of Arkansas and the university, just what's this been like?
Just like you say, just being able to represent the state of Arkansas, the program, and, it's crazy. It's crazy just to be here, and you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't take it for granted. Definitely don't take it for granted. I appreciate Coach Pitt and all the coaches for allowing me to come, and, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. So what's this offseason been like for you? Because obviously you're always trying to work and improve on things and everything, but coming off of last year to where it's at now, spring practice and everything, just what's that process been like for you?
It's been a lot of work, a lot of film, and that's really it. Keeping the main thing, and trying not to look too far ahead. Just focusing on what's right here in front of me, and keeping the main thing.
Yeah. So, talk to us about Travis Williams, your coach there, because he's such a high energy guy, and obviously not just the defense coordinator, but the linebacker coach and everything. Just what's it been like heading into year 2 with him for you, and what's he just been as a coach and a defensive coordinator for your team?
He's been a great leader for our room, and a great leader for the whole defense. And I respect Coach T. Will like no other. And I just, yeah. That's really it. Coach T. Will, you just gotta meet him and go see for yourself. And he's one of the one. He's definitely one of one, and high energy guy. And it's contagious. It rubs off, and it makes you want to be like that, like, man, yeah, Coach T. Will, Crunk, come on, let's get Crunk. Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, also, too, just the rest of your team and on the defensive side of the ball, a lot of new faces. Obviously, guys like Landon Jackson have moved on, but guys coming out of the portal, you got some freshmen in there. Just how you feel about a lot of the newcomers as one of the leaders of the defense and how they've been coming along so far in this offseason?
They definitely been coming along, you know what I mean? I'm very happy that we've been able to add some people to the team. Everybody that came in the portal, they all great people, great players, and you know what I mean? I can't wait to just be able to finally start playing football in fall camp right around the corner, and we finna get these pads popping.
Yeah. So also, I got to ask you, because I'm always curious, when you're not playing football, or if you weren't going to play football, like what is it that Xavian likes doing? What's the hobbies? What does it all look like?
Man, so I'm outside guy, like to fish, like to ride 4-wheelers, and that's really it, outside guy. So if I wasn't playing football, I'd probably be like a barber or driving trucks or something, semis. My dad, he's a semi-truck driver, and my uncle. So, that's honestly probably what I'd be doing, something like that.
Yeah.
So,
Do you know how to drive one? Like right now, if you had to hop into the equipment truck, could you do it?
yeah, so just moving around the yard, I can do that. But actually getting on the highway and like backing them up, I don't trust myself doing that. But definitely moving around the yard, parking them and things like that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm about to say I can barely drive a truck itself, like my own truck. I couldn't imagine having to do all that thing. So, also, I've been talking about with Taylen and Cam just about the EA Sports video game. Is that something you do, you play, you're into, or anything like that?
I'm not. I'm not a gamer. So, yeah, really not a gamer. I don't have nothing against games. It's just something I've never been able to get into, honestly. And, like I said, I've always been outside doing things with my family and friends, whether that's fishing or, playing football or in the backyard playing basketball so gaming really wasn't never my thing.
Okay, well, I was about to just give myself a lot of credit because I felt like you were screwed over in your rating on that, and I've been promoting that to everybody. I was like, you got shafted in this, man. You were a lot better than what they gave you credit for, but that's why it's a video game and everything too. So, again, Xavian, we appreciate it. Just going into this year, though, the expectations, surrounding it, and you got media and saying what you guys are going to do, what you're not going to do, and everything, but just compared to last year going into this season, just how do you feel, not only about you as an individual, but where your team stands, where the status is at for the whole team? What's that comparatively speaking from a year ago?
Honestly, I feel good. I feel good with the team. We ready to get out there and play football. It's a whole different team than last year, really. So we brought in, one of the top schools with the most transfers in. So, we got a whole different team, and, everybody's hungry. Everybody's hungry and eager to get out there and just start playing football. So that's really the biggest thing,
Is that difficult to when that many players coming in and new players? Is it a lot more difficult for you? But nowadays it seems like that's just the way college athletics, college football is. It's just because you were a transfer yourself. I mean, is it a difficult thing, or is it kind of just, hey, this is the way it is, let's all get after it?
Honestly, it can be difficult, but what I learned and when you be vulnerable, and a lot of all the guys that we brought in, they all done a good job at being vulnerable and telling their whys and opening up and things. So that makes it easier when it comes to building team chemistry and things like that. When you know somebody why, and it's rather than the guy that you really don't know, I barely know his name and all. So it's just different. It's definitely different. So yeah, I'm definitely happy with the team.
Yeah, and I also got to ask, because everybody has to wear their own outfits and everything, and how they do it. Just tell us your choice in your outfit, and also the chain there. Is there any significance to that and what you're wearing?
No, so I had this chain really since high school. from Florida love gold. Parents love gold, so that's kind of all we wear as a family is gold. And my parents my mom and my sisters helped me pick out this suit. My little sisters, and yeah, that's really it. Got the little red bow tie.
Yeah.
And, try to put it together a little bit.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yes,
I can't tie a bow tie. So if you were able to tie it, I'm impressed, man, because I can't do it.
Listen, don't tell nobody.
Yeah, I won't say a word, man.
I didn't tie this.
Oh, well, I was about to say, if you didn't tie, whoever did a great job.
Yeah,
Did a great job of tying it, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, Xavian, we appreciate you joining us, man. Enjoy SEC Media Days. I know it's a circus around here with us nerds in the media, but we appreciate it, man. Good luck the rest of the season, man. We'll be catching up with you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
All right, that was Xavian Sorey meeting with us here at SEC Media Days here in Atlanta. So, yeah, he's a guy that is kind of different from Taylen and Cam, which is fine. Those guys, like the games and all of that. Sorey, he's over here. He's like talking about being an outdoorsman and likes to be outside and doesn't do much of the gaming. And if he wasn't a football player, he'd be a barber or a truck driver because of his dad. So, interesting guy. But you can also tell, too, he's a very intense guy who wants to really hit people there in the pad. So he's eager to get out there.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He's definitely a football player. He gives off big football player energy. Looks good in a suit too, man. Listen, no shade intended here, but he might be rocking the bow tie a little bit better than you were, John, on the Trevero day. And I thought you looked great, But Xavian Sorey's got it figured out there. But that was good to hear from him. That does not surprise me at all that he's, not a gamer and likes to be outdoors and everything. I would love to see him driving a semi around the yard. In fact, it just strikes me as a great potential NIL opportunity, given some of the, the companies up here in Northwest Arkansas. I'm just throwing it out there, take care of our guy. But no, that was good. Good to hear him. And boy, they're going to need him to have a big season too. Is he going to be, it was funny, last year we were doing our predictions on the stats and everything. And we're like, I don't think Arkansas is going to have a 100 tackle linebacker, because they had for all those years in a row. It felt like that might change this year. He might be a guy that racks up triple digits in the tackle department.
I bet he's going to have some some 18 tackle games where it just like the certain matchup works out. But he has the exact personality and temperament that you want your linebacker to have, honestly. I would say offensive linemen, but offensive linemen have gotten quirky over the years. Have y'all noticed that? Offensive linemen are no longer these just like chill, just want to go hit somebody guys. Offensive linemen are starting to be a little too quirky. Linebacker, you want him to be just a guy who's just like, listen, I'm not here for the flair. I'm not here for the dramatics. I'm not here for anything fancy. I'm going to hit these guys. I'm going to drive a truck, and I'm going to go fish after the game. Like that's what you want your linebacker to be like. I want to see him make an appearance on the Cam Kojal YouTube channel, low key.
Now that would be a great collaboration if they could make that happen. It's a collab we all need and we all would want to have. So, yeah, appreciate the three players joining us here in Inside Arkansas. We're going to have those interviews posted separately. So if you missed it, we'll be sure to have those posted. But great to talk with them and great to catch up with them as well. I know we'll have some chats to get into, but we do have to get, of course, into our heavy hitters presented by our friends over at HD Roofing and Construction, because we know storms can hit unexpectedly no matter where you're at. So when that happens, be sure to contact HD Roofing for peace of mind when it comes to that free inspection they're going to get you. When you choose HD Roofing, you can rely on professionalism, top quality materials, and expert installation for all of your roofing needs. You can call them today at 501-428-0429. That's 501-428-0429. Or you can check out their website at hdarkansas.com. You can also do that little QR code that the kids are doing these days and scan that, and it'll take you right there. It's HD Roofing and Construction. All right, guys. So a heavy hitter real quick for me. I just want to, give a shout, I guess, to the members of the media here. I know people think that the media days is nerds, and which I said it too, and it is. It's very nerdy. It's like Comic-Con for SEC sports media. People if people could wear costumes, they would. And a lot of people do wear the media member costume to go along with it. But everybody here is just so awesome, and helping out and talking to you about stuff and bouncing ideas off each other and everything too. And I just want to give everybody a shout out to this, where it's a grind. It's a grind for everybody. A lot of people have been coming for a long time. Some people are new to this, but it's tough. It's tough to get out there and to do it the way that they do it, and to continue on and trying to grow and be unique with the ever-changing landscape of college athletics. It's like the location changes, the setup changes, all that changes, but the people remain the same. So I wanted to say that, but also wanted to give a heavy hitter shout out to intern Reagan, because she has done a great job this week. She, asking her questions and putting together some of our social media videos that she has, and helping me out when it came to I was video editing. She went down to take notes and everything from coaches when I couldn't be there for the press conferences. So I wanted to give her a shout out, and she's done a great job and everything. So, but yeah, those are my heavy hitters for the weekend, or at least guys for the week here at SEC Media Days.
Nice. No, I like that. Ditto. I'll give a heavy hitter shout out to Sam Pittman, because all you haters were talking about how you weren't interested and you didn't care and nothing's going to move the needle and this is stupid. There's nothing he can say for the entire week leading up to this. But boy, this chat has a different feel today, doesn't it? Oh, the optimism's coming out. Talking season is working. You guys are getting excited. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. You're all Razorback fans at heart, and here we go. Turning the quarterback into into a Heisman contender, forgetting all the things that have ailed you and pissed you off for the last several months, because football's back in the air and you're getting excited again, just like you should be. So that's a good thing. And Sam Pittman did it, because you guys weren't feeling this way until he went up there to that podium. So say what you want about the man. He got you going, whether you want to admit it or not. But no, in all seriousness, like, we're getting close, right? We're getting close. This is like the epitome of talking season, quite literally. That's why it's media day. And now we've got a couple weeks, and then camp starts, and we can really start talking about football and these guys playing games and this season and what it's going to look like. And for better or worse, that's a beautiful thing. Like, whether the team is projected to be good or not, I'm always looking forward to football season coming around. It's a blast. So that's great. So jokingly, shout out to Sam Pittman there. And I'll also throw out a heavy. I'm not going to give myself one. I'll give it to Andrew. But then everybody who joined us for that members only stream last night, that was electric, man. We went for 2.5 hours. Going into it, we were like, I don't know, will we be able to get 45 minutes or something out of this? Boy, I hope people ask questions or whatever. We could have gone all night, and it was really fun, just kind of getting in that little bit more intimate setting, although there were more people in there than I expected. So shout out to all of you who are members. Hanging out with us. It was a great time, just kind of riffing, letting loose, and getting unfiltered for a little while. We really, really enjoyed it. We're going to do it again, and we'll be excited to bring John in there. We'll talk about him and his tendencies to attract cougars a little bit less next time, because he'll be there.
Yeah, it definitely was a good time yesterday. I appreciate everybody that pulled up, and like you said, I mean, we didn't know what to expect really in terms of how long we would go, how many people would be there. We had a great time, and so we're definitely going to do it again soon. And Curtis, you mentioned there's a different vibe in here, and there's definitely like more optimism about football in the chat today than there has been in a long time. I think it's going to be that first Sam Pittman press conference the day after day one of fall camp. That is going to be the day that everyone is just like, you know what? I actually see 7 wins. I see 8 maybe. I don't know. I really like what I'm hearing here. I think that's coming for sure. But you're right. Like, it's that time of year. You're supposed to be excited. Like, let's do it, and just don't listen too closely to things that I say if you want to be excited. My heavy hitter. Have y'all ever been caught on camera with a coworker that you're not supposed to be hooking up with, and you've been made publicly? You kind of got caught in the act of maybe having a little bit of an affair, office place romance?
No, I have not been in that situation, actually.
I have not been in that situation either, but apparently this guy, the CEO, I forgot the name of the company, but there's a CEO of a company.
All right, come on, you're okay?
Caught on camera at a Coldplay concert, cuddled up with his HR woman. The internet has done some investigative research here. This is look at how happy these people are. That's a guy who has left his wife at home and is cuddled up with his HR woman, and their reaction is priceless.
That's rough, man.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, he's the CEO of Astronomer, according to the chat. He's like, I didn't know who he was, but apparently people knew who he was, and Coldplay just airing out his dirty laundry, man. That's messed up.
Outed that man.
Dude.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, my thing is you went to a Coldplay concert with each other. Like, I mean, it's like, can you really be surprised or like just shocked? Like, man, I can't believe they found us here. It's like you're at a concert where there's cameras and video and people you're running into. It's like, sheesh.
Maybe they were in like a private box that like they didn't think people would be able to see. Didn't think they were going to get on camera, but yeah, that's tough. By the way, I don't really know like if this guy's married, if she's married, or like what's going on here, but That's hilarious. That
That's
cracks
awesome.
me up just seeing that.
Yeah, no, that is awesome. That is awesome.
John, I don't know how busy you were last night. Did you guys get to see any of the Shane Gillis, ESPYs, the monologue? And did you guys get
Yeah.
caught
A little
up on
bit
that?
of it. A little bit.
I love the fact that nobody really knew how to take him, and that's what
Yes.
makes his comedy so great.
Yes.
It's just he's sitting there and he says a joke, and, right? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, don't do better this next time. Like that sense of humor was great, but you got Shane Gillis, but some of those jokes were pretty great. Like some of them were pretty harmless. Like SGA in the house, right? It's like everybody around him is now in foul trouble.
Yeah,
Thinking
that was
little
good.
jabs here and there, but yeah, overall, I mean, I love Shane Gillis. He's hilarious, but I'm glad that they are trying to get people that are funny to do the ESPYs once again, and instead of just some celebrity that's a big person. It's like, no, make it fun and make it funny. It was great.
Some of it was so awkward, not for me, but you could just tell with that particular audience that it made me laugh even harder because he's just up there and he's like, whatever, man.
Yep.
I love how
Deshaun
he'd
Watson
be like,
was good too.
he'd be like, I didn't write that one.
Yeah.
Like he would just like break the fourth wall a little
He's
bit.
like, yeah, we should have cut that one out. It didn't work all week. We shouldn't have done that one. Like,
Yeah. Where he say like, talking about, I think even when he brought up, of course, Donald Trump, because he does a great Donald Trump impersonation. He's like, yeah, I guess nobody really likes that guy here. He's not well liked in this place. And, yeah, it's just people don't know how to take it. And that's what makes it so funny. But no, I love that. I love that. I saw some of the highlights, and he made the best one was, well, at least a tribute to Norm Macdonald in his ESPYs joke from back in the 90s. And when he talked about, it's like, I guess it was Charles Woodson, winning the Heisman Trophy. He's like first defensive player ever win the Heisman Trophy. That's something that they can never take away from you unless you kill your ex-wife and his hair waiter, like O.J. Simpson. Just that was pretty. Oh,
man.
Yeah, no, and Logan, you're right. This one was he's the fake WNBA player.
Yeah,
that one was. He's like, I don't even remember what name he said. He's like a 4-time WNBA champion or all-star so-and-so, and it just shows her in the audience. Everyone's like, yeah. And he's like, see, I got you. I know you guys don't watch basketball because that's my friend's wife. It's like just outed everybody there.
We talked about that on the stream last night because I think I'd seen it like right before we started. That was a good one.
Oh, man.
Well
that
done.
was good. All right. We'll get into the chat. We'll have an interview that sat down with the man, Eli Drinkwitz himself, which I know everybody's going to be just waiting with bated breath to see how that went. But let's do some chats. And it's presented by our friends over at Basis Health, where they're changing the way healthcare is delivered by providing mobile medical visits to the comfort of your very own home. A doctor will come to your home for urgent care, primary care, IV hydration, and so much more. It's Basis Health. They're here for you when and where you need them the most. You can learn more at basishealth.org today. All right, so a few of your chats. Appreciate the super chats. Here from Mike Fishman. He says, outside of Vanderbilt, there's not one SEC team that would put up with what Sam has done. It's pitiful. I think
Kentucky would.
Yeah, I don't think it's so.
I know he had one down year, and now they're getting ready to get him out of there. We'll see if he does it again and he comes back. You're right.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. So Kentucky went 4-8 last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they go 6-6 this year, that would be exactly what Sam Pittman just did. Went 4-8 and 6-6. I think Kentucky will not fire Mark Stoops if he goes 6-6. Right?
I don't know.
Buyout crazy. They might not fire him anyway, honestly. But you're probably right.
I think they would probably accept a 6-6 season. And so it's like, of all the years to do this bit, I really don't think coming off a 6-6 year, like, coming off 4-8, fair enough. Like Auburn, Alabama, LSU, A&M. All those programs would not accept that. Going 7-6 and winning the Liberty Bowl, I'm not saying you should be thrilled about it, and we're not thrilled about it. Hell, we even called for his job afterwards. But I don't know if like this is a year where it's like, oh, nobody else would accept that. I think there's a few programs that would, low key.
Yeah, I just think it's also about how long you've been there. Have you been there for a Sam Pittman tenure or like a Kentucky with Mark Stoops? Was it 13 years or however long it's been? 15 years?
We didn't talk about this. Curtis, what did you think of Pittman being like, if you go into an SEC coaching job and you expect to be there 10 years, like you're out of your mind? He was like, that's just not something. He's like, there's only 2 guys in the league that have done that or whatever. He's like getting up near 10 years. Was that him basically telling on himself, or he's like, I don't expect to be here 4 more years?
Yeah, that was an interesting. There were a few things that he said. Maybe it was contextual at some points where I was like, really?
Right. I was like, what, you expecting to be at Arkansas for 10 years? Like, what?
Yeah.
Also, Witty for the super chat was when the interview was with Taylen Green, says, looks like me standing next to Curtis's 6'7" ass. So
Yeah.
it was pretty
That is
staunch.
funny that was the one you had to stand for, was the one with the guy that's 6'6".
Was he the first one? And then you were like,
Well, see, what it is because I have so much equipment here, I always have options just because because guys, you never know when a player is going to walk up. Like, you just have to be prepared. And so I had it to where I had to set up here or a setup that's standing up in case something's going on over here or whatever. And I was having to like do all the editing and everything of these videos, and it was loading and all that. So I'm like, crap. And Taylen Green comes up, so I'm like, well, I guess I got to go do it over here real quick. But yeah, it was kind of funny that the one guy that stands is the one I ended up having to, or the one guy that's the tallest is the one I had to go and doing standing with. So yeah, it is pretty funny. Let's see. We got Lane said Curtis cracking open a cold one on the stream last night, chilling with good vibes. Then he saw my Cardinals question and immediately got pissed about the team. What a way to kick off the stream.
yeah,
That did happen.
well, we did the thing. The very first question we had in there was from Finch, and a lot of people have been asking about just like how we got started, how we got into the business, how we got to this point, and everything. So we hit that first, and it was like 15 minutes, and then it was like, all right, let's get into it. Let's get rolling. We'll do some rapid fire. Yeah, I cracked open a beer, and then Lane hits me with a Cardinals question. I lost it. But we did well. We rebounded. So yeah,
Good.
It's a good time, man.
I'm just going to be honest. I'm not going to go back and watch it because I'm not saying that anything went bad, but it's just, I want to be surprised when I am able to be a part of the next members only stream of what it's like. I don't want to go in with an expectation. I want to know what it's like.
Yeah. We had a really good time. It really didn't get like super off the rail or like crazy raunchy. Like, we shared a lot of really funny like Eric Musselman stories and just some of our past and everything like that. But it was a lot of first time vibes in there of people asking, about everybody want to know about like, oh, what happened with Natty State and what's up with the credential thing. So it was like a lot of that. And so we didn't have as much time for what we'll have moving forward, which is just like the off the wall type of stuff. So
we did talk about you a decent amount, but not in super negative light and not stuff that you haven't heard us talk about before with you and publicly, frankly. Like, it was in terms of, although someone did ask, they were like, is John as easy to pick on as it seems? And we were like, yeah, honestly, he is that easy
to in stride, man. It's
yeah. I mean, listen, it's you don't think I don't know that this shirt I'm wearing is ridiculous. It's like oh, dude, nice shirt, jerk. It's like, yeah, I know. Like, that's the whole point of it. I'm not sitting there waking up in the morning wearing this and be like, man, I look good. I like the shirt really brings out my eyes. Like, I know it's an absurd shirt. So, but no, that's fine. I honestly, sounds like you guys at least had to talk about all the difficult stuff without me. So that's fine by me.
Yeah, we got all that out of the way.
You probably wouldn't have had that much fun on the stream. We didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, that part wasn't that much fun.
Yeah. Just I love revisiting car accidents that I was in. Let's see. Also, shout out to Hayden. Says our baby girl was born last night. Birdie Faye. Mama and baby are doing awesome. We were so pumped to have another Hog fan to bring in the world. Congratulations, Hayden, man. That's awesome, dude.
Our family has grown.
Yeah, I was looking for you in the chat yesterday because I remember the day before he said that it was due day and everything. So I was like, did it happen? Where's he at?
Hell, Hayden, you didn't show up to our members only stream. What were you doing last night?
It's crazy, man. Yeah. Congratulations. No, that's very cool. Happy to hear that.
Absolutely. Guy Jason says, I saw Sam's presser. He seems to think we'll have a special season this year. No one else seems to share that sentiment. I'm just hoping to show up at home games. I'm tired of humiliating losses.
Does Sam believe they are about to have a special season? And I'm not even saying this to be an asshole. Like, seriously speaking, did y'all watch Sam Pittman today, anybody in the chat, and really feel like he came away being super confident that they're going to be good?
No, I didn't feel that way. Now, he kept saying, like, hey, we got a good football team. That's been his go-to line for 6 years now, and so, and I'm sure he feels that way. Like, it would be really, really tough scenes if he walked up to that podium and was like, hey, we suck. So I'm glad that he didn't do that. There was just some interest, like some of the things that didn't really add up to me, like saying, hey, we're going to be a better offensive football team. And then, then he had the very uninspiring answers about like the wide receiver room and some other areas there. So you're like, so what exactly makes you feel that way? Just Bobby and Taylen, I guess. And, so I feel like he means what he says about having a good football team, but what does that mean? Good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know about the special season stuff personally.
Also, Austin from work says, I've heard a lot of Arkansas media saying that the offense will be improved, but it seems like mostly unknown on running back, wide receiver, tight end. Are we just banking on an improved O-line?
I mean, legitimately, this is a perfect question to be up here next, because I wonder the same things. I really do think that a majority of the conversation when it comes to, Arkansas is going to be better offensively this year, it has to be second season Petrino, like just the benefit of the doubt there, and Taylen Green.
Yeah.
Because everything else is a question mark. And I mean, they're going to have to be banking on an improved O-line. Potentially the pieces are there for that to be a thing, but that's a question too. I mean, we don't know that that's going to be the case. So I think that's what it is. I think it's Bobby and Taylen.
I think people also think Arkansas's offense was worse last year. And not to say that Arkansas had this like lights out offensive group, but like they were, I would say, above average even by SEC standards. I would say Arkansas had an above average offense if you just look at the yardage. And I think in points per game, they were middle of the pack. But it's like, I didn't think Arkansas was super inept on offense. I think they could be better, and they will need to be better if this team is going to replicate their 6 wins. But I think it has to be the Bobby Petrino year 2 Taylen thing for sure. And I think there's a lot of people out there who are way more confident that the offensive line is going to be vastly improved than I think that the three of us are. And that's not to say that we think the offensive line is going to suck, but like you said, Curtis, it's very much a question. And the receiving room, that's another discrepancy. You talk to some people who think the receivers are like, of course, they're not dependent on Andrew Armstrong. Of course they're going to be better. And we don't necessarily agree with that. I think most people in the media and just the fan base think the running back room is going to be good. I'm also not really convinced on that either. And so I think Austin from work makes a very good point, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it is just maybe built in hope and built on assumption that there'll be some things that improve, some things that have developed, but I don't think there's any guarantee on it. There's a potential, but there's no guarantee that it's, for sure going to be better, unless you're just referring to those couple of things there. Let's see. Also, Parker said, how are you supposed to become a member to watch the member-only streams? You on YouTube, should be a button there that says become a member on our page. You just go to our homepage, and then up there he says become a member, and that's how you become a member. Just another way to support us and giving back to the people and doing all of that. So that's the best way I know how to describe it. I think it's different on everybody's, but you can't do it on your mobile phone. Apparently, you have to go to a desktop browser, which is still, I don't understand why that's the case. So, all right. Well, final thing then, guys, before we roll out of here, I guess I'm going to play this Eli Drinkwitz interview. As we all know, me and Eli go way back. We're boys, and we've always had a good time of trolling one another. And he was kind enough. I'll give him credit. He was kind enough to come and join me. He didn't have to. I got Eli Drinkwitz. I didn't get Sam Pittman. So, hey, at least I got some SEC coach while I'm here at SEC Media Days. But either way, let's just go ahead and hear from our guy, our boy, our favorite other coach besides Sam Pittman. That is Eli Drinkwitz. Right now, we have a very special guest here on Inside Arkansas, joining us live from SEC Football Media Days here in Atlanta, Georgia. It is the head coach of the Missouri Tigers, Eli Drinkwitz. And, Coach, appreciate you joining me. How are you?
Absolutely, John. Man, excited to be on here. Excited to be as dorky as I possibly can.
Yeah.
For you and your podcast.
No, listen, I appreciate it. I feel like people think that we're cross or that we have some sort of thing going on. And I'm like, you know what? I respect the man that is very successful. I do. Can you believe that?
Wow, no. We used to have a thing going on, but no, I think we're good, man. No. Now, where are you from in Arkansas?
I'm from Fayetteville originally.
You are from Fayetteville?
Yes, sir.
Did you go to school around the same time Zach Clark, or how much older?
He was a few years older than me.
Yeah.
I think he graduated Fayetteville in 01, and I was in 07. So,
okay, so he's a little bit older.
Yeah. So, but his mom was my Arkansas history teacher, I believe, at Woodland Junior High.
So I got a guy on my staff, Brian Early.
Yeah.
And Brian and I actually coached against each other I think it may have been either 07 or 08 when he was at Fayetteville and I was at Springdale. So
how about that?
It's a heck of a rivalry right there between the Purple Dogs and the Red Dogs, man.
Yeah, I just remember the Springdale 5 and Gus Malzahn beating the crap out of my Fayetteville High School football team. They were really good. So
yeah, I think we beat y'all in 06 when I was there, and then 07 definitely got beat. Then I don't know after that.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. They need to make Fayetteville Springdale rivalry great again. You know, it doesn't seem like it's the same way anymore.
There's a lot of that happening in life, man. There's rivalries, but rivalries are good for the game, right?
That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
That's what's it's good. It's good to have a rivalry. I appreciate personally the rivalry with Arkansas. I don't know if I understand the history of Arkansas football and Texas and LSU's importance in the fan base's rivalry, but obviously I hope from my vantage point, y'all can see the importance of us as Mizzou being new to the SEC, trying to develop a rivalry game to continue to stir the passion. I think it really should just be the rivalry for Branson. Instead of having the what do we call it, the battle
line rivalry?
Battle line, it should be the battle for who controls Branson. During the summer months.
Yeah, it does. Somebody gets to get a trip to Silver Dollar City.
Your team goes to Silver Dollar City.
That's right,
and gets access to Branson more than the other states.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest. It's really tough these days to be able to have any ammo when the Missouri Tigers seem to be having that success against Arkansas. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
College football is cyclical. We've been very fortunate. You look and actually, I think 3 of the 4 wins have been by one possession, right? And I know, in the first game, they hit a 2-point play, and we actually had like 30 seconds and hit a last-second field goal. 2 years ago, we scored late, and they had, a chance to flip the ball all the way down the field. And then, obviously, last year, what an incredible game in the snow and had to find a way to win. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Sam and Coach Pittman and what he's doing there, and he's recruiting a really good team, developing. He's got great assistants. T-Will and I were GAs together at Auburn, and have a lot of respect for him and how much he's grown and developed as a defensive coordinator. Y'all whipped us a couple weeks ago on a recruit that I knew it was going to be tough to beat, Travis. And so obviously Coach Petrino does a heck of a job. Scott Fountain I worked with at Auburn. So a lot of respect there for that staff.
Yeah. Well, and as you know, I am somebody who's, been obviously very critical of that game because I hate losing, and I hate losing, and it happens too often in my opinion. But, when I got put into a hype video of y'all's I think it was last year or the year before.
Yeah.
I was like, man, maybe I can be the one and helping on our side to get this rivalry going. Yeah.
You made it. When you've appeared in somebody else's hype video, which I've done several times.
Yes.
You realize, okay, you got to be a little bit more measured and maybe some of the criticisms and stuff. And it's crazy in college athletics how any little slight somebody will use and try to amplify. But that's just part of the job.
Yeah, that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it fun. So, and I will say also too. I mean, Coach, you've had success at Missouri. I mean, you've been able to put together a program that consistently winning, and I'm just curious of what's been the key to that, because I want some of that. I want some of that winning.
I mean, I think we've obviously been fortunate in some one possession games. We've had consistency in our weight room, and I think our strength and conditioning coach and our athletic performance team is really good. I think that's probably the secret sauce, because not only do they do a great job of physical development, but we also do a mental approach in how we approach our game, and energy details, great emotional consistency that I think has established and kept a culture going. We've had consistency. We haven't had necessarily consistency in defensive coordinators, but consistency of scheme. I think anytime you can develop a scheme that's consistent, it gives you a chance, when you lose coaches, not to have to start over. And that's been an important formula for us, whether it's been offense or defense and special teams also. So, and we've gotten lucky. I mean, at the end of the day, man, the ball bounces funny ways, and sometimes it bounces for you and sometimes it doesn't.
Well, hey, listen, it's been fun catching up with you. I know when I sent the request, I knew it was going to get a no, but I appreciate you coming on with me, and I'm sure I'll still say, how dorky you're doing things, or when you say Taylen Green said Taylen Green, I'm like, this guy over here. I'm telling you, but it's all in fun. Hopefully people understand that.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the deal, man. I got a tremendous amount of love and respect for the University of Arkansas. I had season tickets there. For the football program, and appreciate the passion and fire that they have, and know how important that program is, whether it's football, basketball, baseball. I know how important it is to the state of Missouri, and I got family that still lives there, in-laws, and they cheer for the Hogs. So I understand it. We want the Hogs to be good. We just don't want it to be good when we play them.
That's understandable. Well, Coach Drinkwitz, we appreciate you joining us.
Thank you very much. MIZ.
Appreciate Coach Eli Drinkwitz for joining me. Listen, you could tell that there's, what do you call it, tension and everything like that. It's fine. It's fun for the game and fun for college football. I do appreciate him joining me, though. He didn't have to. He's a busy man. He could have gone anywhere. He could have just said, no, I'm not even going to give you that energy, that time of day. But he did. So I am appreciative of it. But still, it's good to see that there is a little bit of a connection and a respect there for the state of Arkansas that he has. And is also good to see that he likes to have fun with it, and he's had success. And it's you hate it, I hate it, everybody hates it, but at the end of the day, you got to take care of business. You got to win those games if you want to be considered to be a great team like Arkansas. If they're going to have a great season this year, kind of has to happen with them taking that next step. So we'll see how it goes. Either way, appreciate each and every one of you listening in and watching in here on Inside Arkansas. Be sure to have subscribed to us here on Inside Arkansas. Appreciate everybody being a part of SEC Media Days and has made it here for possible. It's been a long, trying, crazy week, but it's been so much fun. Appreciate all of you tuning in. Appreciate all the content that you guys have been consuming with us, and we're going to keep it going there. So for Curtis Wilkerson, Andrew Ellis, I'm John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow afternoon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you then.